Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm standing in a paint booth, a Cerakote paint booth here at Copper Custom. What I want to show you guys is something that we can do here at the shop now. This is an original CZ-75. This is a pre-B gun. That means it has no firing pin safety. This one also has markings on it that says that it was made in Czechoslovakia. Czechoslovakia doesn't exist anymore. It only existed during the Cold War. It's now the Czech Republic. This is a Soviet-era CZ-75 handgun. Now you'll notice it has a glossy enamel finish, which is correct for the handgun and for the era that it was manufactured. Has some old school, but in really good shape grips. And because the grips are in such good shape, and it's just the finish that looks rough, we can replace this finish with a Cerakote job that looks just like the factory original enamel finish, but much more durable, and that's what we're going to do. So we're going to take this old handgun, breathe some new life into it, take you along, give you a quick glimpse at what goes into doing that, and then I'll show you the final product and what we were able to do with this handgun. Now keep in mind guys, this is Cerakote. We do Cerakoting here at the shop, but we're also doing parkerization and bluing. So if you have an old gun that you want to restore to its original glory, we can do it. We can do parkerization, we can do bluing, and we can do Cerakote. In this case, I don't want to do an enamel finish, I want to do a Cerakote finish because it'll give me the exact same look, but it will be infinitely more durable. So let's take a look at the process of taking this old warhorse and breathing some new life into her. So right guys, here it is, the big reveal. This is what the pre-B75 looks like after we restored it at Copper Custom. I chose a kind of a glossy black Cerakote, which would emulate or simulate the enamel finish that was applied to the gun originally when I got it. It just looks brand new. And the other thing that I opted to do was to highlight the markings with white Cerakote. Now that is Cerakote in there, so it's gonna stay. And that's, again, something, a service that we offer at Copper Custom. So I know you guys are going to ask, how much would all this cost? Everything you see done to this gun, we broke it down. We did all the prep work. We painted it, and then we reassembled it, and we did the white lettering. This is $300. You can bring that cost down by taking 50 bucks out of the equation, by not doing the white lettering. You can do the disassembly and reassembly yourself and just send us the parts, which will, again, cut the cost a little bit. But the full cost of this restoration was $300. But I think the gun looks absolutely gorgeous. We even have the Cerakoted red dot there for fire. So again, this is a pre-B model, and the reason I decided to restore it was because the grips were in such good shape, and I really wanted a clean looking version of the early CZ-75s. Now this isn't the earliest type. There's one that came even earlier that has a slide and dust cover cut even further back. I saw that when I was in the Czech Republic. I actually got to handle serial number 1, which was unbelievable. And so this gun is, you know, what a standard Soviet era CZ-75 would look like. It's buttery smooth. We've been shooting it. Now, this isn't its first range session. I took it out and we shot it and we screwed around. Jason and I had some fun with it. But you can see, if you take a look at the rails there, the Cerakote's holding up just fine, even on the slide rails. The barrel, any of the discoloration, we've taken that off the barrel so it looks brand spanking new. So this gun, for all intents and purposes, is a brand new pre-B75. What a beautiful pistol. All right, let's load up a magazine and do some shooting with it. I've also brought out a commemorative pistol that I have in my collection. That CZ, I think, has done twice now, where they run a special commemorative, Cold War commemorative special handgun that is supposed to be a facsimile of this gun, but there's some slight differences, and I'll show you what those differences are. But first, let's shoot the original and show you how she works. You'll notice I chose not to restore the magazine. That's because this magazine, if you look at the floor plate, is damaged. This magazine is different than current CZ-75 magazines, and I'll show you that here in a second. But I chose not to restore this magazine, so I'm gonna have to go out there and get on Gun Broker and see if I can find a pre-B magazine so I can actually have some spare mags for this gun. Again, this is not the same magazine as the current CZ-75s, and that's why I didn't restore this one, because it's already damaged. The floor plate I can actually pull right off of the gun, or off the magazine. But it still functions for now and allows us to shoot the pistol. This thing is so buttery smooth, it's so nice. I'm shooting at like 75-yard targets, little tiny bowling pin targets. And she locks open. These things are so buttery smooth, guys. The CZ in general, one of the reasons why I carry a CZ is because of the ergonomics. It's as good, if not better, than a 1911. If you've never handled a CZ-75, I highly recommend you go by your local gun shop. If you're lucky enough to find one on the walls, pick it up and feel it. I think you'll agree the ergonomics on this gun really are second to none for a double stack handgun. Now, I do have large hands. There might be some folks out there that don't like the trigger reach on the double action. Notice there's a very long reach here. If you have smaller hands, you might not like the double action, but for me, this is probably one of the most, if not the most, ergonomic handguns on the market. Now let's take a look at this pistol next to the replica that's a Cold War commemorative and show you some of the differences between the original and the replica. So here I have in front of me the original pre-B75 and then the post-B, a B model that looks like, or is meant to look like, a pre-B Cold War era model. And this is a special edition run. So the gun that I'm touching right here with the hammer and sickle on it, obviously, is the replica. And these are kind of cool, and that's the reason I picked one up. They've done 2 different runs of these. This is a 2nd generation run. They do the hammer and sickle, they put CCCP in the serial number, and then it has a red star. And on the other side of the gun, you have a red star. And it's still using the new CZ logo, but then it just looks like it's written in Russian. But yeah, there are some differences. This gun is not an exact replica of a pre-B Soviet era handgun. So let's point out some of the obvious differences. First of all, these grips are a little bit different than what were put on the CZs back in the 70s and early 80s. You'll also notice there's a pinhole, a roll pin hole here that you won't find on a pre-B. There's a roll pin here that's slightly different diameter. Internally, the triggers are different, and this one has a serrated top edge to it, anti-reflective top edge, and a magazine, which I will show you here in a moment, does not work in the original. So now let's take a look at the original. You'll notice that there's no roll pin here in the slide, and I'll try to get a picture of this so I can show you guys. The commemorative model has a firing pin safety, and that's what the B models are, right? They're supposedly safe to be dropped. The originals, like this one, do not have a firing pin safety, therefore you don't have a plunger and you don't have the internal components that require having another roll pin up here. You'll also notice that the top of the original is rounded and smooth and doesn't have those long serrations along the length of the top of the slide. The internal components are not the same. They're slightly different in many areas. See, I'm going to break that magazine. It's very, very fragile right now because it's so damaged. But if I take the original pre-B magazine out and try to put the commemoratives magazine in the gun, it gets to right about there and it stops. So if I push any harder, I'm going to have to get a breakover bar or something to get the thing out of the gun. It fits very, very tightly. They're not the same magazine. So that's why I was saying earlier in the video that I want to find a pre-B magazine for this gun that I can restore, because this one is damaged and it's really not worth restoring at this point. One thing I haven't considered, if you look at the base plates, I might actually be able to make a new base plate work on the old magazine. That's something I haven't tried, I just thought of. But anyway, so there you can see the kind of the differences. You'll notice the grips are different on the pre-B model, the Soviet era handgun. The logo is clearly different. The CZ logos have changed over the years, and this is an original CZ logo. And of course, this one is marked made in Czechoslovakia, which no longer exists. It's now the Czech Republic. And that, my friends, is what makes a difference between an original pre-B and the commemoratives, which really aren't pre-B models. They're just kind of cool looking, fun to have, worth more if you don't shoot them, but that's about it. I'm probably not going to shoot this handgun a whole bunch after I get done with it this afternoon. I've had it out several range sessions playing with it. This will probably be the last time I shoot it, unless maybe one of my patrons gets invited to come up. They want to trip up to visit us. That's one of the things that we do for our patrons. Every so often we give a giveaway out so people can come up and visit us at Copper Custom and come out and make a video with us. And I'm going to let that patron decide what gun they want to shoot. And if they choose this one, I'll let them shoot it. Again, I shoot all the guns I own. But this thing is absolutely beautiful. It's taking the shooting very, very well. I'm lucky in that the CZ-75 isn't known for throwing its spent cases back and hitting itself and chipping the paint and things like that. So I probably have maybe 300 rounds to this thing, 250, 300 rounds to this thing, of the Freedom Munitions 124 grain ball. That's what I'm shooting through it right now. It's their newly manufactured stuff, and it seems to be holding up just fine. Still looks brand new, like the day we took it out of Cerakote, got it out of the ovens. Man, I know I said it already, but what a sweet shooting pistol. It's so buttery smooth. Man, I love my CZs. This is what it looks like next to my carry gun. Now, this gun does not have a decocker on it, so it can be carried cocked and locked like this, but keep in mind it does not have a firing pin safety, so if you drop it and it breaks the sear, hammer falls, the gun can fire. So I wouldn't really consider carrying it that way. If you're going to carry one of these early models, you'll probably want to carry it with an empty chamber, which I absolutely hate, which is why I wouldn't carry an early model. You can see how it compares to my current generation. This is my carry gun, so you can see how my carry gun has evolved from the pre-B CZ-75. It's kind of cool seeing the two side by side. But yeah, I love the restoration work that the guys at Copper did on this pistol for me. And yeah, I don't know how much more I want to shoot it. I think that white lettering really brings it out. I hope you guys tell me below what you think, but I hope you guys agree. That white lettering, it's permanent. It's not what it would have, how it would have originally looked, but I think it just looks really, really sharp. The other thing that's interesting that we did is that the importer markings are still here, because this gun had import markings on the side, but we painted over them and we did not accent them with the white Cerakote, so there's no attention drawn to them. They still meet ATF regulations, but you probably didn't even notice they were there, and that was the whole point of doing the restoration the way we did it. I know what you guys are going to say. You're going to say, Mac, you always tell us you shoot every gun you own, but we've never seen you hold or shoot that commemorative edition of the CZ-75. 124 grains of free munitions, and literally, guys, this is the first 15 rounds I've ever fired out of this gun. Just proving to you guys, I shoot every single gun in my collection, no matter how valuable I might think it is. If it's too valuable for me to shoot, I simply won't buy it. Man, I love CZs. And I just discovered, because I've never shot this gun before, that this gun has 3-dot sights and the original pre-B model does not. They're just black. and also this front sight, it's pinned in place, whereas the original 75 is not. So those are a couple of other differences that I've picked up between this commemorative edition and the original Soviet era handgun. All right, guys, it's time to wrap things up. I just wanted to show you guys what we could do at Copper. I purchased this old CZ expressly for the purpose of restoring it and making it look new again for my own collection, because I am something of a CZ fan. I absolutely love CZ handguns, and I have for decades. No, I didn't just discover them yesterday. I have quite the CZ collection. And this one's going to go into that collection. As I said, probably after this video, I'm not going to shoot the gun a whole lot more. This gun was in pretty rough shape when we brought it in. The guys at Copper did all the work to it, restored it to its now what looks like factory new glory. But we can do that service for you at Copper if you have an old gun that isn't particularly valuable. We always caution people that have highly valuable guns that are worth more in their original state not to restore them. But if you have something that you want restored and make it look new again, we can do that there at Copper, there being Copper. We can do parkerization, we can do bluing, we can do bluing over park, and we can do Cerakote. As you guys may know, we've partnered up with Definitive Arms. We're now co-located in our facilities in Valparaiso, Indiana, and that's who is working with us to do the restoration jobs to the guns that we bring in. So, guys, if you'd like to support us directly here at the Military Arms Channel, the best possible way to do that right now is to go to our Patreon page and become a subscriber. We thank our patrons by posting special blog posts, content that you wouldn't see elsewhere. Also, it's become something of a buyer's club where we post some blowout deals on some great products at prices that are so low, literally we can't talk about it because we're violating MAP. Only people that are part of the buyer's club can actually see the pricing, or otherwise I get in trouble for violating MAP. But anyway, I just want to let you guys know about that. Also, please swing by and check out Copper Custom. We do have a new website there, and the new website, I think, now you guys be the judge, but it's probably one of the best e-commerce sites on the web, period, gun related or not. So please swing by and check us out at coppercustom.com. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for all those years of support. Please join the NRA. It's really important. We've have 4 years ahead of us where we have a friendly House, Senate, and presidency. Hopefully, midterms are coming up, but we also have new leadership at the NRA. Please join the NRA. Please use the link down below. Please spread that link around, because that brings me more money which I give completely away to a 503 nonprofit that helps wounded warriors and first responders, which is police, fire, and EMT. Again, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. I love this thing. I might just have to shoot it and wear it out again and refinish it in a couple of years.